All right, so um, today is Friday. Yes, yeah, I can't believe actually today is Friday, and it's the first day of October. So happy October, and I want to say thank you for joining me for my Get Live Friday sessions, where I'm just going to be giving you some inspiration and some motivation for writing tips. And so first off, I want to start by saying my name is Janae Marie, and I am the author of 5 books. And I believe I've got some type of experience. I've got well enough experience to kind of divulge my tips that helped me become a writer of 5 books. So what I want to first start off by saying is, okay, so just like applaud yourself just for stepping out and doing something, that you've always wanted to do. So if you've always wanted to write, you should clap for yourself, applaud yourself, because, not everybody, follows their dreams, not everyone does that. So anytime you make an effort to accomplish a goal or a dream, you need to clap for yourself, because sometimes we're always mad because certain people aren't clapping for us, but at the same time we need to first clap for ourselves. First you need to clap for yourself before you expect other people to do it for you. And in today's discussion, I want to talk about, so you've always wanted to be a writer. That's great. Okay, so I know a lot of people have always asked me, like, how do you get started being a writer? The first thing that you got to do to be a writer is just to write. Okay? The first thing you got to do to be a writer is just to write. You don't have to write like 3 or 4 chapters like a day. No, because most people, we don't. We work, we have kids, we have busy lives. Most you could do, say first, you could even just write a page a day. A paragraph a day. You can just jot down your feelings, jot down whatever comes to your head. So it's usually, because not, back in the day we would always have like pen and notes, but you have your cell phone now. So so just take your cell phone and just start jotting down in your notepad on your cell phone whatever comes to your head. That's always good. That's a lot of times what I do is, because you never know when your inspiration is gonna come. So you never know when inspiration is gonna come. So it's always best to have something handy with you. Well, yeah, because you just know the story will never write itself. You need to just be able to get it out there. So, and another thing I want to talk about is, everyone has a story. Everyone has been through something. Everybody has a story. Don't let someone tell you, oh, don't nobody want to hear that. No one's going to read that. Yes, they will. They will, because everyone has a story to tell. They do. Everyone has been through something. Whether it's, you've been molested, you've been raped, you've been abused, you've been cheated on, anything. You've had a rough childhood, or just whatever. Whatever you've been through, somebody wants to read your story. So I really want people to really know that everyone has a story inside of them. So it's just up to you to find a way to get it out there. So everyone has a story to tell. They do. So don't think that your story is too crazy, or your story is too this or too that, and that no one wants to read it. Because trust me, there's an audience for everything and everyone. So yeah, just know that someone will always be willing to read whatever you've been through. And it might not even be through you. It might be through someone that's close to you, someone that you've met on the street. Because when I wrote my second book, Daddy's Home, I heard a young lady discussing how she had to sell her body to make rent. That's something that I've never experienced, but I knew that so many young ladies have experienced something like that. And I'm like, that's crazy, so that inspired me to write my second book, Daddy's Home. So, you find topics to write about from like the craziest of things. So just know that it doesn't matter what it is, you will always find a story to tell. Okay? Oh, and another thing, also when it comes to writing, just know that your story has the ability to impact others. Okay? Someone may be dealing with something that's going on with a character in your story, and that person reading your book, it may be the catalyst that'll help them change in their life. Like, oh, it might be a young lady that's getting abused, so, it might give her the courage to, maybe seek therapy or get help. So, sometimes being a writer it's often bigger than ourselves. Being a writer to me is like bigger than ourselves. That's another part of why I'm saying finding your why. Finding your why is so important because, what is the story that you want to tell? What is the story that you want to tell? What stories that you want to tell, and just think of like the person that you're going to be impacting, because you may think like, oh, this is just a book that I wrote for entertainment, but your story has the ability to like really impact someone else's life, and they can like, I can see myself in that story, so that's why I said sometimes us as writers is bigger than ourselves, because a lot of readers can see themselves inside the character. How do you overcome self-doubt? You know what? Sometimes that's just something you just have to kind of, because a little voice inside your head will tell you like, oh, no one cares. You just really just have to tell that voice to just shut up. It is hard. It is hard to get over that self-doubt, but the biggest thing is you don't want to live with regret. So to me, I always I'll keep doing that. Think of like, you don't want to live with a lot of regret. So you like, what's the bigger picture here? Like, I really want to. So I try to look at the final ending. Like, my final ending would be my finished product, my finished book. So I look at it like that, like, because you don't, you don't really want to. Because if you doubt yourself, you will never ever finish what it is that you want to do, and then you're just gonna be like, dang, I wish I would have done that because I doubted myself. Then once you're tired of seeing other people living the dream that you want, I swear you'll literally force yourself to get out of your comfort zone, because a lot of the times the doubt comes from us being stuck inside of our comfort zones. It's really hard. It's hard to get out of your comfort zone, and it's because you have to deal with being uncomfortable. And people, we know, Chula, you don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't. Because it's like, we're always worried about what people think. Oh my God, what are people going to think about us? So a lot of times we don't do what we want to do because we're always worried about what people think. So, sometimes it just takes us shutting off our brain sometimes. And the last thing I really want to touch on is finding your why. Finding your why. And I say this because you're going to need this to drive you. You're going to need this to motivate you. At certain times when we want to do something, we're pumped, we're motivated, like, oh, I want to do this, oh, I want to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But when that moment comes, when endorphins run, when they wear off, and you're like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm bored, I don't want to do this anymore. So that's why I said it's important to find your why. You need to find what's going to drive you, what's going to motivate you, and what's going to keep you going. That kind of separates the people who kind of want to do it versus the people who really want to do it. Because if your why is strong enough, you'll find a way to get it done. So that's why I really touch on finding your why, because your why is going to really push you and motivate you to keep going. And the last thing before I wrap things up here is I want you to develop thick skin, because in this industry you're going to run into a lot of people that are going to have a lot to say about you, whether that's positive or negative. And when I say, you're going to, like, from your colleagues, other authors, other writers, readers, when they read your book, and you might not get a favorable review. If you haven't developed that thick skin yet, you're going to take that personally. You're going to take it personally. You're going to have people, and you're going to have people tell you that, okay, this isn't for you and that you shouldn't do this. But honestly, to hell with those people. If you know that this is what you want to do with your life, then keep going. And the best way to write is to read from other writers that have already been where you want to be. So that's like reading from, like, Maya Angelou, Nikki Giovanni, Toni Morrison. Because when I was a teenager and I was growing up, I read a lot of I now write the stories that I was reading as a child. So what I'm saying is to basically read from and learn from other writers and learn the stories of what they've been through, and learn the steps that they took so you can get there. And also find your own voice. Learn from other writers, but at the same time, always have your own voice. Because those people are already established. Readers are gonna want to they're gonna want to get to know you. They don't want to know people that have already been there. But but like I said, develop thick skin, because this industry, people will literally eat you out. What I mean? No pun intended with that, but I'm just saying, like, it's a cutthroat world. Not even just with publishing, but in the world in general. Because how do I say this? Like I said, people, when readers review your work, they don't know you, so they're not gonna, they're gonna leave. They can leave like the harshest reviews. But if you don't know who you are, and you don't have thick skin, you're gonna take it personal. And in this industry, if you want to make it as a writer, you cannot give a damn about what people think or what people say, because people are going to have something to say about you regardless, which is why I come up with the saying, don't let someone put a period in your in the story of your life where there should be a comma, meaning don't let anyone stop you from doing what it is that you want to do. Because a period means stop, and a comma means you take a pause and you keep going. Okay, so to all of the aspiring writers, what my biggest advice that I would give you, if it's something that you really want to do, if this is something you really want to do, you take time, you find time to write. You find the time to write, whether it's 6 pages a day or 6 paragraphs. If this is something you really want to do, you do it. And find your why. Find what motivates you. What is motivating you? Is it the story itself? Is it because this is your passion? Find your why, because you may go through things. You're gonna go through things. Life gets real. You might get writer's block. Anything. And then when it comes to having writer's block, I always take a break and I step back away from it, because I don't like to force myself to write. And when the creativity hits, I just let it hit, and then I go back to it. So, which is why I said find your why. Find what's going to motivate you to keep going, and develop thick skin, develop thick skin, and applaud yourself for trying something new, and applaud yourself for going after what it is that you want. And be patient, because it takes time. Do not think that just because you wrote a book, it's gonna sell unless you have a big ass name for yourself. It takes time. It does. And it does take getting out of your comfort zone, because you're gonna have to do a lot of networking and a lot of talking to people. So, it's a long journey, but it's also a fun journey. So I want to say thank you for joining me on my first Get Live Friday session. And next time I'm going to be talking more about finding your story and finding topics to write about for your story. So so next time, that's what I'll be talking about. And I appreciate you joining me. Thank you. You tell the difference between negative and constructive criticism. Okay, so I would say the difference is when with constructive criticism is when someone tries to say, like, hey, I didn't like this, but maybe she should do this to make it better. When someone offers help to help you do better. But when it's just negative and someone's just like, that's trash, and they just completely annihilate you, they don't offer any help, and they are literally, you can just tell when someone is just being negative towards you, and someone's just beating you down. Because it happens a lot in this industry. Yeah. That's why I said you have to just develop thick skin, because it happens a lot. And with the negative criticism, you just have to let it go. Yeah. Thank you. Next book will be coming in October 2022. All right. Thank you. And I will be back next Friday with my second Get Live Friday sessions, where I will be talking about finding your stories, how to find your story topics. All right. Thank you.